God can use anybody to speak to you and to you and through others. He can in the Bible, he used donkeys. I mean, he can use whatever he wants to get his message across. So if you open your heart up to receiving the word, whether it's what you want or not, you have to have a neutral posture. You're not going to hear God if you're so connected to, I want him, or I want her, or I want this. If you are so, that's where you are, that's the conclusion you're going to come to. You got to come to God with a neutral heart posture, that if it is a no, you good with it. Okay. So that's just something that I've seen a lot of deception. And it ends up falling like, oh, it's God's fault. It's not God's fault, right? God is a gentleman. He's not going to force his will on nobody. So you got to really come in like, I want your preferred will. Is this you? And fast and pray and really seek him in solitude about it intentionally every day until you get an answer, right? So for me, that was not eating for a period of time. And I would like be in my prayer closet for hours. And whatever came to my mind, I would write it down. Just an easy way for you guys to think. I would go in my prayer closet. I'd be in there. I worship. And I would just pray about it. And then I would sit. I would allow my thoughts to filter, and I would write down every thought. And you can tell which thought is from God and which thought is from the enemy and which thought is from you. You're going to know, because you, it's going to be ego. It's going to be more like what makes sense to you, like filtering through your logic, right? That's what that's going to do. God is going to come through with a whole nother, he's going to sound completely different than the enemy. And he might sound a little bit like you, but you're just write down your thoughts. Just write down every thought in those moments. Just write down every thought, but have intentional time that you're seeking him by yourself. If you got to walk down the street and you got to talk to him for 15 to 20 minutes by yourself, if you got to go, I used to walk, I'd still do walk in the park, and I would walk for 6 or 7 miles, and I would just literally have conversations with God. And over time, you start to know which voice is yours, which voice is God's, and which voice is implanted by the enemy to discourage, distract, and keep you bound. You're going to know. But one easy way that I heard that I thought was a really great suggestion is to write down all the thoughts that come into your mind when you come before God in your private time. Like, it's when you got a lot going on, it's very, very hard to hear God. When you just got lots of distractions. And unfortunately, family, if God wants your attention, he gonna sit you down. He is. You chosen, you called, you gonna get sat down. Because if you're not finding intentional time on your own, he'll make time for you. He'll clear the schedule. You can't find time for me? Stop. Okay, clear the schedule. How about now? It's a good time. God is funny like that. I told you guys he's the perpetual line stepper. Like, God is going to step on the line. And it's to let you know that he loves you. He cares about you. And he wants you to having God on your side. Knowing the voice of God is such a pivotal thing, family. When you take that intentional time, you start reading your scripture. I'm not saying you read the Bible in a day. I'm saying do the Bible app. There's ways to portion out the Bible throughout the year. So you're only reading 15 minutes a day of the Bible. By the time you're done with a year, you know more Bible than most Christians. Okay. I think it's absolutely worth it to know the text to which we live off of and live by. God is not going to do anything that contradicts his word. So you understanding that is going to help you inform what is God and what is not in your life, in what you're hearing, in what somebody else is telling you. You're going to start sensing that. Second thing is really taking time out to hear him. So when I had those dreams, I took the time to hear God, became very clear what was God and what wasn't. God then started to take me on a journey. And I knew it was him because I started moving in what I felt like God was telling me. And that's how it starts. It's like little things. Do this, do that, do this, do that. And as I started those little movements, and I would see God move in those little things, it was almost like it progressively got bigger and bigger, the steps of faith I was taking. And I would receive feedback a lot of times. How did you know that? How did you know that? What, I go up to somebody and I felt like God was telling me to say something to them. And I say it to them and they're like, are you like a psychic or something? Like, no, it's like, no, God told me to tell you that. Like God would tell me to go somewhere. I would go there and they'd be like, something would have just happened. And maybe God asked me to sow into them because they're going through something. And I would, and it'd be like, they were taken aback by it because they weren't expecting that. Or like whatever, there'd be many ways, or I would hear a message that would be sent. I'm like, that's random. Why would I think to send somebody this kind of message? Like that's weird. So I would just send it. And that person would call me crying saying, I just was praying to God about this. Like it was those things that were happening constantly to this day. Like I have friends in my life that now I know it's God. So I'm like, I still struggle with it. I literally just had a moment like that where I was like, okay, I can't run away from this thought. Like it keeps coming to me. I don't know why I would think this. I know it's not the enemy. Like the only reason why and sometimes evaluating why you don't want to say it. Like, are you not doing it because of fear? Well, if you know it's fear that's stopping you, it's the enemy stopping you, right? If it's like, and most times that's what it is. Like you're afraid. So if it's fear and it's like, I don't know what they're going to think about me, what they're going to do. What if they don't like it? What if this, what if I'm wrong? The pressure isn't on you. And family, one of the biggest things I had to learn, it's not about you. Like for a lot of my life, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I made things about me. I made things about me. It's not about me. Like this platform is not about me. Like what God does with my life after this is not about me. Like the plans that he has for me is not about me. When it's a God dream, it's bigger than you. It's not only how it impacts you, and that's great, but it's how it impacts the kingdom. And a lot of us, we say it's a God dream. Oh, I'm gonna be a billionaire. Okay, so how does that benefit the kingdom of God? I'm gonna be a billionaire and I'm gonna do this, this, and this, and this for the kids. And I feel like I need to be doing this. And there's some kids that need, they need somebody like me in their lives. And I want to be that for them. I didn't have that growing up. Okay, that's a God dream. We getting somewhere with this. I want a podcast and I want to talk about my relationship with God out loud. And I want to come on and I want to look like myself and I don't want to look like anybody else. And, normalize women that are not with filters and all the things. Like I want to normalize normal looking women, when I say normal, I mean, where we're not filtered up and you can't really tell what we look like. Like I want to be that. I want to be a different type of influence in this world. That's a God dream. Why? Because it's not just about you. When I started understanding that God had put things in me since I was a kid about who I wanted to be, I remember saying these things to myself. I'm like, I see that God from the very beginning has instilled in me a plan. And what we do is we feel like we've got to accomplish those plans on our own. But if it's a God dream, you need God to accomplish it. So seek God about it. Fast and pray. Go into intentional time, like worship. Intentional time. You might not worship like me. Listen, when you see me in my church worshiping, I'm like, you would think I'm at a concert. I am going full throttle. You don't got to do that. You ain't got to do it like that. You can worship. You can sit down and worship and just worship to you. Everybody's worship don't have to look the same, but you worship. And then you speak to God as if you speak into a therapist. You speak into me. You speak into whoever you're closest to. If it's your mom that you normally speak to, and you tell her everything. You sit before the throne and you talk to him like that. Don't make it, thou shalt be thy name. Like no, talk to God like he knows what language you speak. Speak it. Now you do it with reverence. You don't curse. You don't do all that, but you speak to God like you would speak to somebody you respect, but don't over spiritualize it. Have a conversation. That's how you start the relationship with God. Take the time to hear him. Write down the thoughts that come to you. When you write down those thoughts, you're going to know which one sounds like you and which one doesn't. If it's fear, condemnation, shame, what ifs, that's you. That's you or that's the enemy. If it's God, it's going to be authoritative. Do this, do that. And it's going to require faith to do it. And anything God calls you to, the currency of the kingdom of heaven is faith. He's not going to call you to do something that doesn't require the cost of faith. Faith is the evidence of things unseen, the confidence of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Hebrews 11:1. You can't, he's not going to tell you to do something because you got evidence for it. He's going to ask you to move in the area that may be the hardest for you to do because you don't know how this is going to turn out. You don't know how this is going to be received. I literally just experienced something, and I'm going to let you guys go. I literally experienced something the other day where I had a person in my life that I respect greatly. And y'all, for weeks, I've been battling this thought. I didn't want to tell her. I just was like, nah, bro, I can't. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, I was like, God, do it in a dream. Like, if it's not, and really what was going on with me was like, am I wrong? Like, what if I'm wrong? What if this is not, what if I hurt her feelings? What if this, what if that? Like, what if I'm like, I can't really speak to that. Who am I? Like, all those thoughts, like, that was obviously, what if I'm wrong? Who am I to tell her this? Can you do it another way? I don't feel adequate. I don't feel like I'm good enough. I don't feel like I'm well-versed enough. Like, this woman is like, do it a different way. Those are thoughts from the enemy. Right? What if? Fear, inadequacy, like shame, like who am I? You know, inadequacy, excuse me. Like, that's the enemy speaking to me. That's the enemy discouraging me. So I talked to a friend of mine who, like, spiritually, me and this young lady have been walking so heavily together. Like, I thank God for her. Like, I thank God for her because, like, it really has, like, having somebody that's walking with you, that's walking heavy and trying to do it God's way is, it's not even, there's no words for that. So anyways, you know, I spoke about it and she was like, well, what if you're supposed to be the one to tell her? And I knew that was God because I had been fighting it for weeks. I did not want to do it. I did not want to do it. And I'm like, but what if this, what if that, what if, well, maybe God, like it's God. Like, the pressure's on God. It's not about you. Wouldn't you want to know? And I'm like, I would. So y'all, I couldn't run away from the thought. I did it. The woman thanked me. Like, it was a relief. Like, I didn't even realize that my act of obedience set her free. But because I had been just up in my head, like, she called me, thanked me. And literally, when I saw her the next time, she looked like 100 pounds had gone off her. Now, I had overthought it for weeks. That pressing thought that I could not run away from, to do this. And I'm just like running away from it, distracting myself. I don't want to do it. Do it. And it was like her and somebody else, 2 people. And that day I said, okay, I'm going to do it. Both people was confirmation. Both people needed to hear from me. Both people were waiting on a word from God. Both people at that point were waiting on me to be obedient. One, it was a confirmation. Well, both of them were confirmations. They both kind of sensed, but didn't know. And God had put it on me to be that person. I was so afraid of the reaction. I didn't have a guarantee of a result. But when I moved, and I was like, God, I pray that you allow them to receive this. Family, that word was able to give them clarity, direction, understanding. They understood where God was calling them. And it brought one of them that I know for sure. One of them felt peace because she knew she was hearing God. Second one was like, you don't know how much weight you've taken off of me by just giving me that word. Thank you for your obedience. Sometimes we overthink and we do not allow God to use us because we make it about us. And it's not about you. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about what God is doing in the earth and how he is going to use us in the earth.